There are more players linked to Collingwood at the moment than there are links in a chain. Let's use this video to talk about who they are, what it means for us, and if we're going to have a good trade period or not. Let's get into it. So as I mentioned off the top, we're going to be doing this video every couple of bits whenever we see a new sort of person sort of pop up that we're sort of linked to or interested in or whatever the hell they want to say. We're going to talk about 4 players that we've been linked to and a couple of our own players. We'll mention Bobby Hill, we'll talk about Joe Richards. Let's first start off with the first cab off the rank that I heard about, and this was a couple of weeks ago, is Tom Barrass from the West Coast Eagles. Now, Premiership defender, and I remember posting about this on Instagram and Facebook, and there are a lot of people being like, no, we don't want him because, you know, the 2018 grand final and stuff like that, and it's probably why we do want him, because he was phenomenal in that. Really good player. Look what he's doing. You know, I know it's hard at the Eagles at the moment to sort of say Tom Barrass is a really good defender because they're losing all these games, but he is a really good defender. The only knock on Tom Barrass at the moment is that he's contracted until 2027, and he's 30. So when he gets out of his contract, which is for 3 years, it's pretty much a lifelong contract at the Eagles. So to get him now, and apparently he is gettable, but to get him now, we would have to trade for him. And trading for him without your first round selection, because remember, we've given that to Fremantle. So with trading for him without your first round selection does really put you on the back foot. It would mean that you would probably need to send a player, trading future round picks. And the thing with trading future, you know, first and second round picks and all this sort of stuff is that we don't have a concrete view of what that's going to look like, because there's talks that trading of future picks could change. So we really don't know what that looks like at the moment. We do know what it looks like because it looks like what it did last year. But could that change with all these new changes coming? It's a wait and see. Tom Barrass, on the scale of do we want him to do we not want him? Um, it's hard. I think we would want him. Jeremy Howe is, you know, over, what is he, 31 or 32? Probably doesn't have long to go, maybe end of this year, maybe end of next year. I think Tom Barrass is a good replacement for that. We do have Charlie Dean, we do have Billy Frampton, but we need sort of this big, mature player that's been around the traps. I would like him. Do I see it happening? Probably not. Are we going to get him or not? On a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably, for me, sitting at a 4 out of 10 at the moment. The next player we're looking at is a unrestricted free agent, and that's Josh Battle from the Saints. He's 25, he's a defender, and I really like what Josh Battle has been doing at St Kilda. A name that I never really heard of until I started watching a little bit more St Kilda games, thanks to Footy Abroad and Saints TV and Jake and stuff. So I have been on the Saints bandwagon a little bit. So I've been watching that. Josh Battle is an interesting one, especially because he's an unrestricted free agent. And an unrestricted free agent means that if we offer him 6 years and 700,000, he can just walk to us straight away. He doesn't have to wait for an offer from St Kilda or anything like that. So I think what I've been hearing, and take this with a grain of salt because I'm not affiliated with the club or anything or in the know, but what I've been hearing is that he will come to the Pies. But I'm also hearing that St Kilda have offered him a 6-year deal. So you don't really know, but this is one of the guys where he could be that Jeremy Howe replacement, and he's in a younger age bracket, and he is around the type of player that we want. And the best thing about him is, kind of like Billy Frampton, you can switch him up forward, and he can kick a couple of goals, take a good mark as well. So that'll be really interesting. A bit of a swingman, probably plays predominantly in defense if we do get him. So I would put this as, do we get him or not, as an 8 out of 10. And I know that's really high, kicking off trade wins. I know that's really high, but I'm pretty confident, not because of what people are telling me, just because we've always said it, and Graham Wright and Craig Kelly, they've all come out and said that we want to hit the free agency really hard. We want to hit the trades really hard because, you know, the draft isn't going to work for us. We want to keep topping up like Geelong do, like Sydney do. So if we want to hit the free agency period really hard, Josh Battle is the guy that would sort of kickstart that, and we can sort of go from there. The third guy we're going to talk about is Logan McDonald. So a couple of years ago, I actually had a chat to Logan McDonald. This was back when Swoop was in its infancy, before he got drafted, and a big Collingwood fan before he got drafted. He's uncontracted at the end of the year. He's 22, 196 centimeters, and is a key forward. Now, he's been in the system with Buddy Franklin, and Sydney have got a good system. We've been crying out for a key forward, crying out. Why are we going for a midfielder? Why don't we draft? Why are we going for a ruckman? Why don't we draft a key forward? Key forward, key forward. Logan McDonald, full forwards this good don't grow on trees. But 22, not a free agent, uncontracted though. Apparently, they're saying that Collingwood have offered him $200,000 more than what he would get at Sydney. But you can agree, he can agree to that. Say, yeah, I want to come to Collingwood. $200,000 more, that's $800,000 a year, whatever it may be. The thing is, what are we going to trade with to get him from Sydney? You would, again, same with like Tom Barrass, but, you know, Logan McDonald would or Sydney would want way more for Logan McDonald than West Coast would want for Tom Barrass. You're probably looking at a player, another future first round, a future second round. You would have to bundle it up. It'll probably be a 3 or 4 club deal. Players would need to come and go. It would be really crazy. I feel like we have the quote unquote war chest for him, but I do feel like you would need to absolutely trade your soul away to get a Logan McDonald into the club. It would be incredible. It would be absolutely incredible to get him. But I just don't see it happening, especially with, you know, giving this year's future first, or no, it's not a future first, but this year's first round away for Lockie Schultz, which is paying dividends now. But, you know, you got to think that in 2025, Thomas McGuan is coming in. He's going to be a high draft pick. We're going to need a lot more points for him now that they're changing the father-son academy point system. So, yes, I would love Logan McDonald. No, I don't think it's happening, but it would be amazing. He is such a good player, and he would fit into our system really well. And he's the perfect Mychek replacement. Could you imagine a forward line of McDonald, Kruger, McStay, or Ash Johnson? It would be phenomenal, but it's just not going to happen as much as we want to. Just not going to happen. So I have him sitting at a 2 out of 10 on the will we get him scale. I should have a name for that. Leave your comments down below. What should that name be instead of the will we get him scale? On like a will we swoop him scale? The swoop scale? Like will he get swoops? The swooped scale? I don't know. Leave your comments down below. Second last guy we're going to look at here is Cam Zera from North Melbourne. Kicked 3 goals against us last week. Cam Zera is a restricted free agent, which means that if we offered him $600,000 over 4 years, the Kangaroos can come out and say, we offered you $700,000 in 4 years. So they've got a chance to sort of counter the offer. If he does go from the Roos will probably be looking at I think I read that it was a late second compensation pick. So I think that's like around pick 23 to 28. Would they want to, is he worth a pick 23 to 28? He's probably worth a little bit higher. He's a forward, 26, 190 centimeters. He would complement McStay, and I don't know how long Mychek has got, but he would complement McStay and Mychek a lot. He's that crash and bash forward type. We saw him firsthand last week. He has done a lot of good things. He's one of the players that I don't feel is super consistent week in, week out, but you probably don't get that playing for North Melbourne. No shade, but you probably just don't get that playing for North Melbourne. But I'd actually really like Zera, the bull. We'd have 2 bulls. We'd have 3 bulls. One in the defense, one in the midfield. So Maynard in the defense, Bo in the middle, and then Zera in the forward line. So 3 bulls at the Pies would be great. But I love the way Zera goes about it. Do I see the Kangaroos playing a super hard ball? I do. But again, it goes back to the free agency and what our heads of the club are saying, that we're going to be hitting the free agency hard. Cam Zera could be that guy, and I think he'd suit the way we play a lot. He can push up the ground, he can set the guys up, and we've been wanting this. He's not a real big key forward. He's not a key forward like a Logan McDonald would be, but I think that he's one that we would really go after. So is he on the will we get him /swoop scale? I think he's probably sitting at a 6 at the moment. The last guy we're going to look at is Rory Lobb. Contracted, if he comes to any other club, I think it'll be his 4th club. Forward, pushing 30 or just over. I don't want him. I don't want him, and that's no shade to Rory Lobb. I just think that maybe he just doesn't work hard enough. From what we've seen at the Western Bulldogs, he'd probably benefit from playing at another club, but I don't think it's the club. It's Collingwood that he would benefit playing from. I don't feel like he would work well in our system. Yes, it would be nice to sort of have a forward ruck again, because who knows how long Mason Cox has. But again, he's pushing 30. Maybe if we can get him for like a bag of chips, if we can get him for like a late fourth, because you remember Darcy Cameron, I think we picked up Darcy Cameron for either a pick in the 50s or a pick in the 70s or something crazy where it was pretty much just a packet of plain chips, because plain chips are crap, and they're definitely on a scale of like where they would rank in the draft. Plain chips would be like a 7 in the 70s, and like salt and vinegar, that's a top 10 draft pick right there. If you're trading for a salt and vinegar chips, you're trading for a top 10 draft pick. So if we can get Rory Lobb for a packet of plain chips, and it's not going to cost us anything, and it's just a free hit on cheap money, a cheap contract, if the Western Bulldogs can pay that, sure, awesome. But I'm not giving away a really premium light and tangy chips for a Rory Lobb. So will we get him? I'm going to put this as a 5 out of 10 because Collingwood have known to be playing like a money ball sort of strategy. So this is a bit of a 50-50, so a 5 out of 10 on the Swoop scale. That's a tongue twister. Swoop, I can't even say it, Swoop scale. Now, our two guys. First one we're going to be looking at is Joe Richards. Joe Richards is uncontracted at the moment, 26. We've seen what he can do. He can light it up. I feel like, and I've already said this multiple times, he's our Jamie Elliott replacement. We need to give him anything that he wants. Give him a 3-year deal at $400,000 a year. Give him whatever he wants, because Essendon are going to come for him. Fremantle are going to come for him. Geelong are going to come for him. All of these clubs that need a small forward are going to come for him because they've seen what he can do. We found him. We scouted him. We picked him up as a mature age player. We've invested into him. So we have to repay his faith that he's given us. And I think we re-sign him. He's out of contract at the end of this year. So I think we do re-sign him because he would be absolutely incredible. If not, he could be a part of some sort of trade going forward, which would be interesting because, you know, we could trade for Burgess. It could be a Logan McDonald. Who knows? But he would be involved in a trade if we weren't to say we wanted him. But we don't really have these sort of small forwards. I don't see Harvey Harrison as a Joe Richards type player. Lockie Schultz isn't a Joe Richards type player, and neither is Bo McCreary. So it will be interesting to see what we do to him. So the last player we're going to be talking about is Bobby Hill. Contracted until 2026. He's on about $450,000 a year so far. And the Pies are already looking to extend him. Now, we saw that there was a bunch of rumors coming out that he wanted to go back to the West. Fremantle and West Coast were apparently coming for him. That came from a WA reporter from SEN. And I think that's a load of rubbish. Who knows? There's probably, you know, people say, oh, it's his manager trying to pump up the things. But, you know, pump him up if you have to, because Bobby Hill, he was on 450 because he didn't really come into the Pies. He just needed to come here. Hadn't really proven himself as a player. Now he's winning games off his own boot. It was 5 goals against North Melbourne. It was Mark of the Year. It was a Norm Smith medal in the grand final. He's probably worth $700,000, $800,000. And 2026 he's contracted till. So we'd probably be looking to extend him probably a further 2 or 3 years, I would say. And just really lock him in as a prize player. Get him that, you know, 600 to 800, maybe 800 a bit much, 600 to 750 maybe. But I don't see Bobby Hill leaving. There is no hope in hell. And people are saying, oh, maybe Bobby Hill is in the Tom Barrass trade. And that's so dumb. If West Coast want Bobby Hill, you're giving us, you're fucking giving us Harley Reid. You're giving us Harley Reid. You're giving us no one less than Harley Reid if you want Bobby Hill. But I think Bobby Hill stays. I think Joey Richards stays. But anyway, guys, this has been Trade Win. So expect more of these videos whenever there's a trade or a trade rumor that comes out. And it might be a 5-minute video. It might be like this, and it might be a 13, 14-minute video. But let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you want? Who didn't? It wasn't on this list that you do want. Let me know all your thoughts down below. And until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.